Hi everyone, welcome to the virtual college exploration for all California students, sponsored by College2Career Fairs and StriveScan. Thanks for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the presenter and I cannot see you or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so please be sure to check out the full schedule at college2careerfairsconnect.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, college2careerfairsconnect.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenter.
Hi there, hey everybody. So it looks like it's a couple of you guys in here today, so thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen in just a moment, and I'm going to talk for a little bit. I'll talk for like 20 minutes, and then after that, I will open it up for questions. So it's not a terribly long presentation, but before I do start, I do kind of want to just have a sense of who I'm speaking to today. So if you guys could, I won't pressure you to turn on your mics. I know it's Friday, but if you could just drop in the chat what you're interested in studying that way, and what grade you're in. So what you're interested in studying, perhaps. If you're undecided, that's cool, say that too, and then what grade you're in as well. And then that way I can be sure to touch on some of those things in my presentation. So I'll give you guys like a minute to do that, and then I'll go ahead and, oh, we don't have a chat feature, it's a Q&A. Okay, I see. So, okay, cool. Never mind. I'll just go ahead and just speak about the University of Houston. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys. There we go. All right. So, good afternoon, guys. My name is Cassidy. I am from the University of Houston. So the University of Houston, of course, is in none other than Houston, Texas, all right? It's about 10 minutes from downtown Houston. So Houston, I'll start by talking about the city of Houston, and then after that, I will get into just kind of introducing the university, and then we'll have some time for questions. So I hate to break it to you guys, but Houston is not a college town. So Houston, Texas is the 4th largest city in the nation. It's also the most diverse city in the nation. 49% of our student body were the first in their family to go to college, and we are actually the 2nd most diverse public college in the nation. So I bring all of that up to say that there is definitely something for everyone on our campus. Something academically, I'm sure you can find something that you'd be interested in studying on our campus. And then certainly in terms of finding community and building community, it's definitely, it's an easy city to navigate. I would say in comparison to some of the other large cities in the nation, Houston is kind of has a little bit more of like a relaxed feel to it, if that makes sense. So it's definitely an easy city to navigate and an easy place to kind of find your niche and find like kind of where you fit in. And then our campus, I would say the same thing for our campus. Because of all the diversity, there is an area for everyone on our campus. So in terms of internship opportunities, this is one of the things that I think is really cool about the University of Houston, is that there are some really unique opportunities that are kind of unique to the city of Houston. So an example of that would be the world's largest medical research center. So the Texas Medical Center is located in Houston. It's about 20 minutes from our campus. So students, whether they're in a nursing program, a pre-med program, or any of the other health sciences, definitely have access to those opportunities. But even our business students have found opportunities over there for internships. So you'll not just have internship opportunities at the Texas Medical Center, you'll also have research opportunities. We're a member of the Texas Medical Center, meaning we have a few different professors on our campus that are either contracting over there, doing research over there, or have done either one of those things. So certainly in terms of making connections to have access to those opportunities, I would say it is not difficult to do that on our campus. So if you're a student that's interested in business or engineering, 24 Fortune 500 companies right in downtown Houston. So places like Chevron, IBM, our business and our engineering students, or whoever really, but those are kind of the main groups of students that take those opportunities, have access to that in terms of internships. And like I said, we're just 10 minutes from downtown Houston. It's like a quick $8 Uber ride, or if you are feeling brave, you can take the train. I say brave because I took the train out there and I got lost, but I think that's just because like I don't live in the city. So Also, of course, NASA is located in the city of Houston, so we do get a lot of students that are interested in our engineering programs. Our engineering department is well connected with NASA, so certainly those opportunities are available to you as well. And so for all of these different reasons, Houston is actually considered to be the #1 city for a college student to start their career by People magazine. And I think that that is because, number one, like I said, Houston's easy to get around, easy to build community, build relationships and make connections. So it's a great place to go to school, go to college, and also a lot of students come from other parts of Texas or other parts of the country and end up staying in Houston. Actually, fun fact, the majority of people who live in Houston are not native Houstonians. So the majority of people that live in Houston, they came to Houston to pursue either a less expensive cost of living or to pursue whatever business or career opportunities that they have in the city. So moving right along, I will talk about academics. I will spend a good amount of time on this slide, so I'm sorry if it gets a little bit wordy, but I do like to highlight our academic programs. So we are a research institution, so we have 16 academic colleges, over 120 different majors. In case you guys are kind of wondering, like, what is a research institution or what does that mean? So being a research institution, that's what separates the Cal States from the UCs, right? And that's not to say that a school that's not a research institution is not a good school, not at all. But on a research campus, all of your professors are required to be involved in outside research projects. And so in that sense, when universities are producing a lot of research, they're getting government grants, they're getting money to do that. It is a business in some respects. So in that sense, this is when universities are able to add more programs, hire more faculty. So that's why oftentimes you'll see the research institutions are a little bit bigger and kind of have a, I guess, a larger reputation, just in the sense that they are serving a large population of people, and they're kind of well known for these different things, say sports or different research projects and things like that. So we are a research campus, just like the UCs. However, something that I think separates us from a lot of other research campuses is our average class size and our faculty to student ratio. So we are a big school, 38,000 undergrad on our campus. So that makes us a large school. However, our average class size is about 32 students, and our faculty to student ratio is 21:1. So that kind of just speaks to the level of research output that we have at the University of Houston. When universities are producing a lot of research, they're able to hire a lot of faculty. So we're able to keep that ratio low, which means for you as a student, these research opportunities, whereas at some research institutions can be very competitive, they're a lot more accessible because you have a lot of faculty. So research on our campus just looks like you having an idea. Maybe it's mental health issues amongst students in Southern California or something like that. You find a professor that's also interested in something along those lines, and then you'll enroll in what's called our independent studies course, and then you'll spend the whole 16-week semester researching whatever it is that's interesting to you. So we really pride ourselves on being able to offer our students the resources to do that little bit of hands-on learning. So we really promote the idea of learning not just inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom. So we're really definitely looking at applications and looking for students that we feel are going to be self-motivated to take advantage of these different opportunities that exist in the city, these research opportunities, because we really feel that's kind of like, that's at the core of our identity as a research institution. And then of course we also have 5 professional schools, which I'll get into in just a moment, but let's talk academics. So architecture and design. I love our architecture department simply because it's affordable. So student in California, you'll find that very few of our public institutions in California offer architecture. It's not one of those schools, then it's a public school, public or private school. Private schools are expensive. I love our architecture department simply because you have access to a research institution resources, but you have a competitive price point, I would say, just to kind of put that a little bit weirdly, I guess. But what I'm trying to say is that you can study architecture and not have to go into very, very significant debt. All right, I'm just gonna keep it real with you guys. Our College of Arts, I know we don't necessarily hear the South coming from California and think of the arts, but Houston is a pretty artsy city. Definitely is a city that invests in the arts. So when you walk through downtown, All of the buildings have like some sort of art installation or sculpture out in front. They're like required by the city of Houston to do that, because the city of Houston really kind of promotes this idea of community and a sense of community. And it's very apparent in the ways that the city invests its money. So I think that that's really cool. So you'll find different programs like sculpture, painting, different BFA programs, anything from our performing arts programs. We have a vocal performance program. We have instrument performance, music theory, and our theater program. That's probably like the bread and butter of our College of Arts is our theater program. So our business department, several nationally ranked programs. I like to highlight our entrepreneurship program, which is ranked #2 in the country. Our finance and accounting departments are nationally ranked as well. I think what would set us apart from other business schools, undergraduate programs, would simply just be the location and the proximity we are to downtown Houston and all of the opportunity there. So you have the Fortune 500 companies, but then you also have a lot of smaller companies, a lot of startups. The tech industry is kind of making a space for itself in Houston. So certainly those might be some opportunities that would be available to our business students. And all of our business students are required to take an internship, which is awesome. Our College of Engineering, very well known, very well recognized. All the major subfields of engineering, one of their kind of like unique programs is our petroleum engineering department. So Houston actually is the energy research capital of the world. So if you were a student that was interested in petroleum engineering, which I don't imagine a lot of students, have decided on that specific area of engineering, but if that sounds like you, we'd be a great fit for you. And then, of course, our engineering department has a pathway that'll allow you to earn a master's and a bachelor's degree in just 5 years. And we have a few other programs like that in other colleges, and I'll talk about those in a sec. Hotel and restaurant management, a unique degree for a unique student, okay? So you're taking classes from our business department, you're taking sociology classes, you're taking political science classes, you're really taking classes that will help you understand business, management, and marketing, but also people and the behaviors of people. So it really kind of joins business with the social sciences. And like I said, it's a unique degree for a unique student. So hotel and restaurant management, that could be managing a hotel or a restaurant, but it could also be event planning. And event planning could be planning weddings, that could be planning large political events, that could be planning large music festivals. So anything, if you're a student that is kind of inclined toward event promotion or event planning, and you kind of are interested in the hospitality industry, this is a good program for you. It's a unique program. I could talk all day about that program, but I won't. So moving on, our College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences. So I know I have talked a lot about STEM and business, but I do want to make the point that if you're a student that is interested in social justice and social change and things like that, while yes, Houston does have a very thriving economy, there are also a lot of disadvantaged areas in Houston. So I bring that up to say that if you're a student that is interested in those things, Houston is a great city to make impact. There is a lot of room to make some really good impact in a city like Houston. So you'll find programs like our political science program, philosophy, psychology, all of the main things that you'll find in a College of Liberal Arts. Our College of Health is also housed in our College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences, and that is where you'll find our kinesiology programs, fitness and sports administration, things like that. And then, of course, so before I get into that, I'll talk about our College of Technology. So I do want to highlight this because this is a really unique and kind of really cool opportunity for students that are interested in engineering, but don't really love the math, all the math that engineering requirements. So let me break this down. A student in the College of Engineering is getting an engineering degree that kind of focuses more so on the theoretical aspects of engineering, okay? They're taking all of the higher level math classes that you'll need to take to really understand the theoretical aspects of engineering. But there are other parts of engineering that we like to call the more practical side of engineering. And so these students that are in the College of Technology, they are working towards degrees that are mechanical engineering degrees, electrical engineering. It'll say electrical engineering technology or mechanical engineering technology. Similar classes you'll be taking to the student in the College of Engineering, but where it diverges is that if you're in the College of Technology, you're not taking those higher level math classes that you need to take in the College of Engineering. So a lot of students kind of have this idea that the College of Technology Engineering programs are for the students that just didn't get into the engineering department. That's not necessarily the case. I'm sure some students are kind of more or less in that predicament, but they end up really liking the College of Technology. And the reason for that is the students from both colleges, from what I've heard, they end up at the same types of companies. They're just doing different jobs. So whereas the College of Engineering major is working more so on the design aspect of whatever project they're working on. This is just an analogy, just kind of illustrate. The College of Technology major is more so involved in overseeing the implementation of those designs. So that might not like fully make sense, but if you have questions about that, I'm happy to go a little bit more in depth about that and explain that, because I think it's really cool. The requirements, of course, for our engineering department are a lot higher, like most engineering programs are, but our College of Engineering, it's still a pathway for students who just kind of have that love for design in engineering. And then, of course, pre-health. If you are interested in anything having to do with the health sciences, we have you covered. Whether it's pre-med, pre-nursing, pre-optometry, pre-pharmacy, pre-physical therapy, we have folks on our campus, dedicated staff, a part of our pre-health advising center, that are going to make sure that you are planning out your courses in the right way, you're taking the appropriate internship opportunities that would make you a good candidate for whether it's medical school, physical therapy school, pharmacy school, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I do want to make the point that these are not going to be your majors. So your degree is not going to say pre-med or pre-nursing. We don't do it that way. These are more so, these programs that I just mentioned, these pre-health programs, those are resources on campus. It's an advising center. It's folks that are there to help you, right? But in terms of what you study, what your major is going to be, a whole variety of things that you can do. So you can study health, you can study fitness and sports, you can study what most students tend to come in wanting to do, biology, biotechnology, biomedical engineering, mathematical biology if you're a more ambitious student, I suppose. So a variety of different things, biochemical and biophysical sciences. So a variety of different areas of study that you can participate in if you are interested in going into the health field. Now, last thing I'll say on this slide is that if you're interested in being a doctor, you don't necessarily have to major in bio, right? So biology is great for students that already know that they want to be like medical researchers and they're kind of interested in research. But if you're more so interested in being a dentist because you want to work on people's teeth, or you are interested in being a doctor because you want to help people, you're more so interested in that patient care aspect of it, you don't really want to go into medical research, then you'll be fine being a health major, but being a part of either our pre-dentistry or our pre-med advising program. And you'd be a great candidate for either one of those professional schools. And then, of course, we have a direct entry nursing program. So you can apply to our nursing program as an outgoing senior or an incoming freshman. So cool opportunities. I will move on from this slide, but if you guys have questions about any of the academic programs that I've talked about, which I hope you do, jot them down so that we can chat about them. So now we're going to talk about admissions. So this slide is old. I know you guys are the class of 2025. Okay, so there are a few things that are different on this slide that aren't really applicable to fall 2020, which is what you guys are applying for if you're a senior. Namely that we are no longer requiring ACT or SAT scores. So we are test optional. So the way that this works for admissions, we are a school that you will know if you're going to be admitted before you apply. So what that means is that we practice what's called assured admissions, meaning just like it sounds, if you meet these criteria that we have posted, which I'll go over in just a second, you will be assured a spot, or you're guaranteed a spot in our freshman class. So the way that we do things, if you're in the top 10% of your class, we don't look at your SAT or your ACT scores. We already know you're a good student, you're graduating at the top of the class. We say, come on in, you're good to go. So we guarantee you a spot if you're in the top 10%. And that is all Texas, at least public institutions. I'm not too sure about the private schools, but all Texas public institutions will admit any student in the top 10% of their class, regardless of anything else, okay? So now for fall 2020, for fall 2020, if you're in the top 11 to 25% and you have a 3.4 GPA, then you're assured admissions, or you're guaranteed a spot in our freshman class. you have a below a 3.4 GPA within that range in your graduating class, then we invite you to go through what we call our holistic review process, meaning we'll look at you a little bit more in-depthly. We'll look beyond the numbers, beyond what's on the transcript or on the score report from College Board, but we'll actually look into you, see if we can get a sense of who you are as an individual, as a scholar, as a student, as a young person in the United States, right? So we really look to your personal statement, your 2 letters of rec, and your resume. So I do want to make the point, if you are in the top 1125 and you are above a 3.4, so you meet those assured admissions requirements, we won't be asking for letters of rec, personal statement, or a resume. But if you do fall below that, then that's when we'll reach out to you and say, hey, we want to learn a little bit more about you. Could you please send us these 3 things? And then from there, we'll look at you. And then so what we're really looking at when we go through holistic review, we're looking to check for your capacity for perseverance. So meaning, can we get a sense that you're going to be a student that's not going to drop out after they get their first C in college, okay? So we want to know that you can overcome adversity. We're looking to kind of gauge what kind of community member is the student going to be. So we really want to see students that are involved on campus or involved in their local community or involved with their family. We understand not all students have time to be a part of these various clubs and activities on campus because they're at home helping their mom or they're watching after siblings or something like that. That's totally fine. We don't hold that against you, but talk about it in your essay just so we can kind of get a sense of how you are when you're a part of a community, because we want to know that you're going to be a student that's going to come on our campus and want to be involved in the clubs and organizations, that's going to want to take the internship and research opportunities. And then I would say the final thing that we're looking at, I think those 2 things, if you can articulate your essay, or the final thing, leadership experience, I'm sorry. Not leadership experience, but leadership qualities. So different from leadership experience. You don't necessarily need to have the leadership experience. We know not every student was involved on campus for various reasons, but we kind of want to see that you have leadership qualities. So discuss in your essay, if you can articulate your essay in a way that we get a sense for your leadership qualities that you have, we get a sense for your capacity for perseverance, we get a sense of kind of how you are as a part of a community, then that's a strong essay, and you would be a good fit on our campus if we can check for those 3 things. And then finally, I know I just kind of like got derailed, but I'm sorry. So top 26 to 50%. If you have a 3.45 GPA, then you're guaranteed a spot. If you're in the top 26 to 50% and you have below 3.45, again, you'll go through our holistic review process. You'll submit those 2 letters of rec, the resume, and the personal statement, okay? And then, of course, if you are someone that you took the SAT in the 11th grade, you liked your scores, or you have figured out a way to take the SAT and you just want to go through our regular admissions process with your SAT score, we'll look at your SAT or your ACT scores if you have them. And then at that point, the assured admissions requirements are what you see right here on your screen. So based off of where you rank, that will dictate what score you need to be assured admissions, okay? And then of course at the bottom, it says application deadlines, fall 2020 scholarship priority, November 15th, 2019. So every year, it has always been November 15th, our scholarship deadline. For whatever reason, they decided to move it up 2 weeks this year. So rather than November 15th, the scholarship deadline will be November 1st. And that brings me to my next and very last slide. No, second to very last slide. So this is where I talk about the cost of attendance. So keep in mind, you guys, these are estimates. These estimates, or your cost of attendance, could very well be more than this, and it could also very well be less than this. So for non-residents or students that don't live in the state of Texas, our tuition is about $25,000 a year, so it's about $12,500 a semester. I would say, I mean, that is a significant amount of money, but I would say for a research institution, it's a little less than a lot of other research institutions, okay? And then for room and board, the most expensive housing option on our campus is about $6,000 for incoming freshmen. And the cheapest option, so that's yourself, the $6,000 one, that's yourself, your own room, your own bathroom, no roommates, just you in a nice little space for yourself, right? not every student needs the nicest space, the nicest dorm their first year of college. So if you can forego that luxury, you can live on our campus for as low as $3,200 a semester. So no shade to the schools in California. I obviously am from California. I went to UC Riverside. So I love the UCs. I love California, but that's a lot less than the cost of living on most California campuses. I'll just leave that at that, but it really is. And Houston itself in general is a lot more affordable than Southern California. So to put that into perspective for you guys, I live in LA. What would cost you maybe like $2,800 for a 1-bedroom, decent apartment in a decent area would cost you like $850, $800 on our campus or in the city of Houston. So a lot cheaper to live in Houston. And then of course, I mean, if you have roommates, you guys live in a 2-bedroom, you have a roommate, you could potentially, your living situation could cost you like $600. Like, I really do mean that. You could literally live in Houston, pay rent, and your rent is only $600. So I'm just like, every time I say that, I'm just like, man, but I love California. But anyway, so this is my last slide. So all of that being said, we do have opportunities for students to have their out-of-state tuition waived. So our out-of-state tuition fee waiver is perhaps our best scholarship opportunity for out-of-state students. So the way that this works is if our scholarship department reviews you and they decide to offer you one of our academic excellence scholarships, then you will also, in addition to the cash that you get from that scholarship, you will also only pay our in-state tuition. Okay, so our academic excellence scholarships range from $1,000 to about $6,500 a semester. So if you are really killing it in the classroom, you'll max out, you'll get that $6,500 a semester. And by really killing it, I mean above a 3.8. Okay, so if you're above a 3.8 GPA, you'll get, you know, more obviously in scholarship dollars. And then if you're on the other end of that spectrum, which for us, for our scholarships, I would say the bare minimum is going to be a 3.65 GPA in the top 25% of your class. So if you meet those requirements, you'll get $1,000 in scholarships, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it is. $1,000 is $1,000, right? But in addition to that $1,000, you're also only paying our in-state tuition. So whereas our residence tuition or Texas resident tuition is our non-resident tuition, I'm sorry, is $12,500. Our in-state tuition is $4,500. So if you get that $1,000 scholarship, you're technically only paying, what's that, $9,000 less 8 year plus 1. You're paying $8,000 a semester, or $8,000 a year for your education. And then of course, if you get the $6,500 a semester, you're paying what, like $500 a semester for your education. So I think that you get a lot of bang for your buck on University of Houston campus. Before I wrap up, I do want to mention something that I forgot to mention on my academics slide, which is that we have 17 programs that allow a student to earn a bachelor's and a master's. So I mentioned the one that's in our engineering department. We also have a program that'll allow you to earn your bachelor's in political science alongside your JD, which is the degree that you get from law school. So a pretty sweet opportunity there. That would take you 6 years and it would save you a little bit of money in tuition and save you some time as well. Political science also will allow you to earn your master's in public policy in just 5 years. So there you really will save a good amount of money and some time. Save yourself about a year with that. And then, let's see, hotel and restaurant management can give you a master's in 5 years. Architecture can also give you a master's in 6 years because our architecture program is 5 years, the bachelor's program. And then there are a few others that I can't think of off the top of my head. But I think that, you know, these opportunities, while they sound intense, and they are, it's a lot of work that you're going to be doing, but you're paying to come to college to do something. Hopefully it's to work, right? So that's what you're coming to college to do. So I encourage you guys to be open to these types of opportunities. And then, so I'll end by saying, I think that you get a lot of bang for your buck on the University of Houston campus. I think we're a good fit for students coming from Southern California for a variety of reasons. I think that Houston, it's different enough that you'll definitely feel like you're experiencing something new. You'll feel like you've left home and you're in a new environment, but it's similar enough that you won't, I don't think students will really experience the same sense of what we call culture shock. on our campus, just because it is a diverse place. It's a large hustle and bustle city, like most students from Southern California are used to. So yeah, I think we're a fine fit for a lot of different types of students. I like to say that University of Houston is your opportunity to get a UC education at a Cal State price. So that might be a little bit problematic, but it is true, because we're affordable. So with that, we're 30 minutes into this. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And if you guys have questions, you guys please ask them in the Q&A. And if not, I will also, I'll post my contact info, or my contact, I can't post because it's the Q&A, but I'll pull up a slide that has my contact info for you guys, and you guys can snap a picture of that as well. So does anybody have any questions that I can answer? Okay, sounds like I probably gave some good info then. So I'm gonna post my contact info for you guys to take a picture of really quick. So I'm gonna share my screen one more time, okay? So here we go. This is so fun, sharing my screen. Okay, here we go. So you guys thought I was done, but I'm not. So I do want to talk about UH&4. This is a cool opportunity. I'm just sharing it because I saw it while I was clicking through my other stuff. So UH&4, I don't know if you guys know this, but tuition does tend to go up every year at a public school, about every year, every other year. So more often than not, the tuition that you paid as a freshman will be a little bit less than what you pay as a senior when you're in college. It certainly happened to me at UC Riverside, just kind of the name of the game. But University of Houston, we try to make it, we try to find a way to work with students. So we use our fixed tuition rate as a way to kind of incentivize students to finish in 4 years. So what this means is that you can opt in as a freshman, and then the criteria for that is that you need to be above, I think, a 2.5, it might be a 3.0, every year after that, and you need to commit to like taking a certain amount of units. But the idea is that if you do all these things, you keep your grades up, you take the right amount of classes, then you should be able to finish in 4 years. So that's your end of the bargain, right? And then our end of the bargain is that we'll allow you to pay the same rate of tuition all 4 years, okay? So your tuition will never go up. And then we also have a cool thing that if you finish in 4 years, you'll get a $2,000 rebate. So you'll pay all this money all 4 years, and if you actually finish in 4 years, then after your graduation, like a couple weeks after graduation, we'll send you a check for $2,000, which could be, you're fresh out of school, you need a little money in your pocket. So that's a cool thing that I think that we do. And then finally, here's my contact info. Like I said, my name is Cassidy. I am based in Los Angeles, so if you have any questions about Houston, I can certainly speak to the University of Houston from a California student's perspective. I did not go to University of Houston. I went to UC Riverside. However, my family is from Houston. My mom, or my dad went to University of Houston. So I know the city a little bit, and I have been working here for some time now, so I'm certainly happy to answer any questions or connect you with anyone that you might need to be connected with to get the info that you need. So let's see. Tatiana and Teddyson, I hope I pronounced those names right. Do you guys have any questions? If you do, go ahead and post them in the Q&A, and I'm happy to answer them. Oh, sorry guys, this is my dog. Well, I will hang out for as long as you guys are here, just in case you think of a question that you want to ask. All right, cool beans. Hi.
All set?
All set. So I'm good to go?
You're good to go. Let me just say this thank you. So thank you everyone for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. This was just one of many sessions being hosted. Please be sure to sign up for additional sessions at college2careerfairsconnect.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other session recordings at college2careerfairsconnect.org. Thank you so much. Have a great
Awesome.
afternoon.
Thank you so much. Take
All
care.
right, bye.
Bye-bye.